up, everybody? Welcome back to Keto Rewind. I am Jess. Thanks for clicking on today's video. Oh man, I have so much to say today. So today is the recap of the Flab Fighter Challenge. So we're going to do a weigh-in. We're going to see the pants from day one versus today, the infamous pants, and we'll see if they fit now. And also my recap of the challenge as a whole. So what do you say we hop into today's video? And real quick, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Element Electrolytes. You guys that have been following me know that these are my go-to electrolytes. They are a science-backed ratio of electrolytes so that each packet is containing 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. They taste delicious, they're sugar-free, gluten-free, no artificial flavors or colors, just a great overall electrolyte for those of us on a keto, low-carb, active lifestyle. These help me keep my energy levels up, they help me power through workouts. In addition, that magnesium helps me sleep at night and helps ward off muscle cramps. Because, you know, I like to do strength training, but most of all, they help me get my water in. And water is so important when you are trying to live this healthy lifestyle. Like, you can't skip out on water if I've learned anything. So watermelon is my absolute favorite flavor of the electrolytes, but I have a promo just for you guys using my special link. You can use this link as many times as you want, but you can get this free sample pack of all 8 unique flavors. So you can try, mix and match, you know, find your favorite, and you can get this for free using my special link with any purchase. So that is drinkelement.com/keto rewind. That's drinklmnt.com/keto rewind. Thanks, Element, for sponsoring this video. And now let's get back to the rest of my recap. Okay, so let's talk about the fun stuff. So I had to keep notes throughout the challenge because some stuff would just dawn on me, and it's stuff I hadn't thought or put the connection to before. So the whole challenge, I'm like keeping a running list of things. I'm like, don't forget to talk about this. So when I started this challenge originally, when I set out to lay out the basics, the foundations of how the challenge is going to go for the fat loss challenge, I wanted to keep in mind, I've done fat loss challenges in the past. They were awesome, but my goals had changed slightly, and just overall perspective, you know, I was wiser. I am 4 years into this journey now. I had great success initially when I started this challenge and dropped 135 or something pounds, you know, just to forget the very basic things that got me that obese status, you know, in the first place. Was you let little habits come in, you make excuses, you don't show up every day, you know, and then next thing you know it, you have a significant rebound on the scale, and it happens so fast. Oh my gosh, it took me a while to lose all that weight, and it took me it took me very quickly to regain a significant portion of it back. So with that said, the challenge this time around, I had to keep a few things that were obvious in check, and that is my association of my emotions with the food. One of the things that has been to my downfall in the past was making things too fancy, or, you know, throwing too much at something and not remembering to keep it simple. So the first thing, or the most obvious thing, was when I made this challenge. I am curious who noticed this. You had to have. I made it so obvious, but this was intentional. When I made the meal plans, or the menu for the week, of which you can download everything at ketorewind.com if you want to follow along. But I made so many repetitive meals. Breakfast and lunch are so easy to just do and get over with. You know, I usually put a little bit more time into dinner, but breakfast and lunch, or if I was just doing the one meal, the first meal, keep it simple. Don't make it fancy. Don't associate so much emotion with those meals. Those ones, you're in the middle of your day, you've got so much to get done. If you're busy like me, you need something that's quick, that works, that tastes good, that, you know, it keeps the goals moving forward. So with that said, I did so much of the same foods in this challenge. And I was trying to make it so obvious to you. It does not need to be something new every single day. If you know a meal works that satisfies you, yes, it may not taste like, you know, your favorite food, like, you know, it's not macaroni, cheese, and French fries, you know, for me, but it does taste good. You just take a little of that emotion away from the food and use that food to fuel your body and your goals. So I knew that when I went to the grocery stores, I was making the same breakfast and lunches very often. So that cut down on so much time of, you know, basically thinking about what I needed to buy that week, how to log those foods in my food diary. You know, they were already in there. It was just a matter of popping them in for that day. You know, so because the task of logging all the food you eat in a day can get so tedious and time consuming, and, you know, and if you know eggs with Canadian bacon and a half tablespoon of butter with a side of Greek yogurt is, you know, bam, 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 bam in your food diary, why, and it works, why do you have to have something fancy or different every day? I am in fat loss mode. I am not in maintenance mode. I don't have the time right now to make things fancy. I need to lose this weight. What's the solution here? Quick and easy, repetitive meals. It's okay, you know, and like I had some variety, but I was trying to really drill home the fact that eggs are so easy. Egg whites are so easy. Greek yogurt's so easy. These are not things that cost a lot of money. You can buy them anywhere. They're super easy to log and they work. So I tried to just drill home that by taking away the emotion of that delicious meal where I walk away like, oh, that was so good, you know, and just like, oh, I'm satisfied, ready to take on the rest of my day. Like I had to tone down the emotion that I associate with that meal. I did not need that meal to be my emotional crutch. I needed that meal to fuel my body. So I know after years of doing this now, 4 years of doing it, my association with food, that relationship has to change. I have to take away a lot of the emphasis on what that food does for me emotionally and change it to this food right here fuels my goals. You know, and it's just a slight tweak because the food doesn't taste bad. The food tastes great, but it's not macaroni and cheese and French fries. You know what I mean? So I don't need macaroni and cheese and French fries. It makes me feel bad. It makes me gain weight. It's like, bleh, you know, I feel so good and so powered and so energized eating this way. So it's like, it's just a simple tone down of the meal, you know, but at the same time, it's being smart, you know? So when I'm making my menus for the whole month, breakfast and lunch, I didn't even need to think about. You know, I go to the grocery store, I know I need eggs, I know I need butter, I know I need Canadian bacon, you know, I know I need Greek yogurt. Those are already on my list. I don't even have to think about that, which is a huge time saver. Huge. So when it came to dinner, I also made meals that were easy to prep. They were tasty, they were not fancy, and they were more protein focused to keep those hunger waves down. So with that said, I've been working for the entire month on disassociating what the food does for me emotionally and retraining my brain to think this is fuel. This makes me feel good. This effort makes the weight come off. You know, it gets me closer to my goals. It just comes down to what do I want more? Do I want to eat something that may taste good for 15 minutes, but I will feel horrible emotionally after it, horribly physically, or do I want to feel good all day and just not be just as satisfied, but pretty darn close to being satisfied? So that was one of the key takeaways in this challenge. And then obviously with the increase in protein, I was not stressing about being in ketosis this challenge. I have done that in the past. My carbs were where they were. I did not worry about that. I took the emphasis away from the energy source and put it into the protein source. I made sure that if I hit those numbers, which I was aiming for like 150 grams of protein per day, and that's based on my current height, weight, goals, that would be different for you. But for me, I wanted 35% protein per day in what I'm eating per day. So, and that's because I wanted to keep my lean mass and I wanted to target fat. I'm not quite so caught up in the weight loss form of the fat loss. I want fat loss, which is a very different from losing weight. I don't want to lose my muscle. We need our muscle. I like growing a ton of hair. My hair grew a lot in this challenge. I had to clip my nails like twice a week. I'm someone that likes my nails short. I wear contacts. I am very hands-on with what I do, and I can't have long nails. And plus I feel it's cleaner when I wear them short, but I clipped my nails so much. It was like, my goodness. I remember when my hair was, before I got my roots touched up, I was growing like 1 inch of hair. Like, that's a lot. And that's because I was eating so much protein. My body needs protein. So, and that made me not so wound up about the carbs and fats. So I was below 30 carbs per day, but I was not worrying about 20 or less. You know, like it was my priority list was, if you eat enough protein, you will feel full and satiated, and it won't matter. And the rest of the tweaking of your hunger will come from your healthy fats and carb source. So, which for me was lots of green veggies, lots of vegetables in general, and lots of healthy fats. So, and it made the emphasis of the challenge not so stressful. You know, I knew that if I was hungry, find a protein source and it'll just knock that hunger out. So lots of cottage cheese, lots of Greek yogurt, lots of chicken, lots of beef, lots of turkey, you know, just lots of cheese. Just those were my go-to easy grab and go type sources to snack on. So, but by eating so much protein, I was full all the time, and I planned for more food in the challenge that I could get in. I was full, and that was a wonderful feeling, to be full but yet being in a deficit. So it can only be blamed on tons of water and tons of protein. Okay, so let's talk about the weigh-in. Now, this was a 4-week challenge. Yes, there were 5 weeks in March, but we didn't do the whole week. Like, I started filming ahead. So it was technically only a 4-week challenge. I started the challenge off at 248 pounds. Now, the first week, I lost nothing. I'm like, oh, how am I not losing any weight? Like, what the heck? Woo! I freaked out. I will tell you, I freaked out for a minute. Week 2, but I stuck with it. So I stuck with it, and week 2 comes around, I hop on a half a pound, and I'm like, it's been 2 weeks, I've dropped a half a pound, and I'm leading a challenge right now. I'm like, oh! Minor freak out moment. So then I was like, okay, I'm like, think about Jess, what's happening here? So I'm a habitual yo-yo dieter. For the last 2 years of my life, I've been yo-yoing. My body's never truly sure Jess is all in. So it's like, before I go through all this work and get this fat off of you, are you really, don't make me do this unless you're really in it to win it here. And I was not in it for when it saw me for what I had been doing, and I messed my metabolism up. So from tracking my food every day, I found out kind of where I needed to be. So I knew I was not really losing at 1,774 calories. It was not really enough of a deficit for my body to be in. I would not have known that number had I not religiously tracked. So this is the method to the madness. So by tracking my foods, I knew, okay, all right, so I'm just going to start knocking off 100 to 150 calories until I see that scale moving in the sweet spot. So my activity hadn't changed. I was eating the same food, all those variables were the same. The only change was I just ate a little less, and I didn't really touch the protein. I just came down a little on carbs and fat. And I was in the 1,600 or so, as I should know this, but I mean, the carb manager keeps track of that number. I don't. All I know is I was down. So, but I didn't drop it to like 1200. That is not what I'm saying here. I dropped it like 150 calories. And that seemed to do the trick. So the third week came around, I was down 3 pounds. So I'm like, yes. The fourth week came around, I was down 3.5 pounds. So I was like, yes. So that put my total for the month of March, the weight loss, was 7 pounds. Now, yes, it probably should have been more, but it was like I had to figure out and work out some kinks. So yeah, I wish it was more, yeah. However, with that said, I want to show you the difference in my body composition. This is why you take the video. All right, so here they are. Oh my goodness, some wiggling, a lot of wigglings involved here. But these were clearly too small. But let's show. So I have this flab here to get rid of. So we had clearly have some overhang here. So for the before, they're not as bad in the waist as they are here. Like the hips part is okay. It's mainly the elastic band up here that's way too small. Okay, so I have on the infamous pair of jeans, and I'm popping tags. I don't need that anymore. These I actually can wear. I don't know if you can tell, but I think most notably the waistline of the jeans fits so much better. There's still quite a bit there, but it is significantly better than day one of last month before I started the Flab Fighter Challenge. So these actually are comfortable. I can put my hands in my pockets. I could not do that. I could not do that a month ago. There was just not enough room to get my hand in there comfortably, and now I actually could put something in there. So, but yeah, much different in the physique category. And a lot of that is right exactly where I wanted to lose it. So as for judging, like this today versus day one or a month ago, I can pull the pants up higher so that my waistband is actually sitting at my waist. It barely got there last month, so these are more comfortable to put on. There's actually some room in there. There's not a real, they're pretend. They are, what do you call it, pull-on capris instead of a zipper. So, but man, they feel so much better. And now, after all that hard work, I have a new pair of capris that I get to wear this month. But wow, what a difference, huh? So as you can see, after just 4 weeks of putting in consistent work, I look like I lost more than 7 pounds. Like, that's a lot off my belly. And those pants went from definitely not fitting to fitting while snug, but they fit. I could wear those. I popped tags on those, in fact. I'm in the just in time for spring. So, but had I not taken the picture or the video and put those pants on, I might have been discouraged only losing 7 pounds. Because I put a lot of work in. Oh my God, did I put a lot of work in. I'm considered obese again at my current weight. So I am now today 200 and then in addition, I had a whole nother week to keep this up, and I lost 2 extra pounds to bring me to 9 pounds in a little over 5 weeks. So my weekly weigh-ins have resumed, and I've told you for this particular week, this extra 2 pounds was not part of the challenge. It's just being consistent. So with that said, the difference between losing weight and staying the same is the consistency. And it was, in addition to the overall taking that emotion away from food, making it way easier by eating repetitive foods because they work, they taste good, they get you to your goals, they're a time saver. In addition to being that, the consistency. I showed up every day. I wanted it. I didn't make any excuses. I owned everything that I did, and it was refreshing because I hadn't been showing up consistency in a long time. I would do great, and then I'd bomb it on the weekends, or I'd have some special event, and I'd do all this work throughout the week, and on the weekend, it would be like one day would come by and it would just throw me off, and I'd have to spend an entire week making it up for that one day. And I did that for like almost 2 years. So it's obvious now, being consistent matters. So for the month of April, we're going to do a consistency challenge. And the goal of this challenge for this month is how many days can you be consistent? And it doesn't have to be food. We're not all on a fat loss journey. That felt like how many days in a row can you go to the gym? How many days can you read a book instead of scrolling on social media? How many days can you, avoid sugar? How many days can you eat, vegetables in a row? Like, just what can you do consistently in a challenging way? And for me, I have to show up every day. In order to overcome this, to learn and live that new life that I'm trying desperately to live, I can't do it by showing up as the old Jess, with the old Jess's habits. I have to be the new Jess, with the new habits. And that is how you look and live differently than you used to, by changing everything. You can't expect to lose weight and keep it off if you don't change. And that is speaking from absolute experience. That's why I regained like 70 pounds. So, and it's frustrating, but it's the truth. So please take that from my experience. If I can say anything, show up every day. Every day. So being consistent is the challenge. That's what I'm asking for the month of April. And that means maybe how many days in a row can you track your macros? How many days in a row can you hit your protein goals? How many days in a row can you hit your carb goals or stay in ketosis? Like, what can you be consistent at or with? And do it. So with all that said, I am super proud of myself. When you really want something, you will find a way to get it done. I was stressing about the challenge. I knew how much work it is on my end to film, edit, plan, all the stuff, in addition to having very busy schedule as a mom with kids in 2 different sports and one of them in a competitive version of that. And, and still try to have my life and, do the things I want to do. So I was stressing on how I was going to get it done. I thought initially that I bit off more than I could chew. But then I was like, where can I make time? How can I make this simple? That means repetitive foods. It took a lot of the guesswork off. It made my menu I could put together that menu in no time. I knew where to get to stuff in the store. I knew what to keep in the house. It took a lot of time away from what I stressed over in the past and gave me more time in return. So for the funny thing is, I read 3 books this month. 3 books! And for someone who I don't even know how I was going to sleep during this past month, I found time to, in addition, read 3 big books. I am almost done actually with the 4th Harry Potter book, and I got like 2 chapters left. So I found time because I wanted to do it. I wanted to read a book, and I wanted to lose the weight. So I made a menu, I found the time. I took it from the stuff that takes away from the Jess that I want to be, and I put it over here in the column where this is Jess, this is what Jess wants to be, and this is what Jess wants. And all of a sudden I had all kinds of time and I could get this challenge done. So I hope that makes sense. But it was an eye-opening experience, and I want that for you too. And that's why I'm sharing this. Your journey's not going to look like mine. You're going to have completely different goals than mine. But the principles of what I'm saying, that is what I'm trying to share. It's possible. You can do it. It just comes down to how bad do you want it, and will you make the time for it? Will you make the change? So anyways, that is it for this week. That I will resume weekly weigh-ins, and I have a bunch of fun recipes coming up. I couldn't share on the last week's challenge, and I couldn't share them with the last month's challenge. So I have a lot of really cool ones that I just discovered, and I want to share them with you. And they're all high protein. So anyways, I will see you at the next one. I am Jess. You're watching Keto Rewind, and don't forget, use that link below to get your free sample pack with any order. Bye!